Okay, this is the vlog for June 29th, 2018. I continue to be ill. Um, just briefly checking online, I have the symptoms of what is commonly called stomach flu, although it's not actually flu because it's unrelated to the influenza virus. It is viral. Um, I sort of assumed it'd be a bacterial infection, and it actually shares some symptoms with an E. coli outbreak, but I don't think there's only a very small chance there was E. coli in anything I've eaten in the last week. But I am just a wreck. I sort of feel better today, but I also feel worse, but in different ways. I sort of got my appetite back today, and so I decided to go get something that I felt would be easy to digest and nutritious. And I settled on a smoothie because I know when you're having digestion issues, yogurt is always a good bet, and fresh fruit is generally good for you no matter what the situation. Although most smoothie places use frozen fruit, so I don't know if that cancels out any nutritional benefit. But ironically, I went down into Redmond to Emerald City Smoothie, and their water wasn't running, which meant they couldn't rinse out their blender, which meant there was no reason for them to make any drinks. So that was frustrating. But I got back on the street and went down to Jamba Juice, and that might have ended up being for the best because they used Greek yogurt and no like additive syrup, so it wasn't extra sweet, and sugar is definitely something you don't need a lot of when you're sick. Especially with viruses, it tends to just act as fuel for the virus, in my experience. So that ended up being quite good. It was banana, strawberry, and pineapple, and Greek yogurt. It was very tasty. I came home, and I went to bed last night right at 8 o'clock, and or maybe even 7. I went to bed very early last night, and I was in bed until 6 this morning. No, I went to bed at 8 and got up at 7. That's when I got up this morning. I'm glad I did. The house is currently going through some remodeling. Then that actually started in earnest today. The remodelers came in and took out two of the walls to the pantry. I guess 3, because the one wall is mostly a door, but they took that out too. And just peeking in through the plastic they've got set up to contain the work area, it is unreal to see through, because I've been in this house for so long. Having it change that dramatically is dramatic. But I wanted to sleep a lot today. After I got up and had my coffee, I just crawled back into bed probably around 9 o'clock and slept through a lot of the hammering and drilling and sawing. I woke up again around noon, went and got my smoothie, drank that, came back home, did a little bit of internet searching, watched some videos on YouTube, and went back to sleep. So I've slept a lot. Well, I got in bed. I haven't slept that much in the last 2 days because a lot of it is just laying there while the fever runs its course. But the rest makes me feel better. So I went back to bed and I woke up probably around 4 or 5 o'clock. Got up around 4 or 5 o'clock. And I was sort of up and about for a little bit. I watched some stand-up by a guy named W. Kamai something. I believe he had a show on CNN. Black fellow who was really funny and had some really interesting things to say about the current state of government. He had some pipes too. He would yell some of the jokes, and it was so funny. But he kept hitting the water bottle he had on his stool, and I don't blame him, because yelling that often is bound to wear out your vocal cords. But I suppose if he's done TV He's used to talking for long periods. And then at about 8 o'clock, a little under an hour ago, I felt like I had enough of an appetite to go have some solid food. But after getting about halfway through my second McDonald's hamburger, and yes, I know that was definitely not the healthiest choice, but I had a real hankering for one, and usually they seem like they're pretty easy to digest. Halfway through the second one, I realized that my nausea was really starting to kick in, and part of it too had to be that my stomach has definitely shrunk because I've had like a slice of pizza, a smoothie, and a bagel in the last couple of days. I think the smoothies are definitely the best choice for now, just to replenish myself. Also, I need to get some Gatorade because I am dehydrated like crazy and I need to replenish electrolytes, which is something that Gatorade excels at. It'll probably make me feel a whole lot better. If it is some sort of stomach flu-like thing, I should be getting better in a day or two. I do remember having a sickness not unlike this when I was back in high school. It took me out of action for a week, and my chemistry grade dropped from a B+ to a C-. I remember, weirdly, we associated being sick with sleeping in sleeping bags. I don't know, just because it meant that they were, easy to clean and isolated from any other, we wouldn't get the germs on the couch itself. We'd keep all the germs in the sleeping bag. But yeah, for a week, I basically laid there in that sleeping bag and watched TV when I wasn't just sleeping. And that's basically where I am now. 7 minutes. Managed to go for a while. Well, before I go, I have to say thank you to Gab Mendoza, for wishing me well. It does mean a lot to hear that. My friends are all very sympathetic. This is an illness that is absolutely no fun at all. Much more than a common cold at this point. Maybe just because of how long it seems to be going for. But, if it doesn't get better in a couple of days, I'm definitely going to hit the doctor up. What's sort of frustrating is that 4th of July is on Wednesday, and last year I was unavailable to go to the 4th of July because of a terrible headache and cold symptoms that I had during the day. So I opted out, stayed at home, didn't get to see any fireworks or anything like that. I really don't want to have to repeat that this year. That's 2 years running that I've missed 4th of July fireworks. But I definitely don't want to give this to everybody at a dinner party either, so I might just have to do that. We'll see. But, yeah. See how I feel tomorrow. I'm Eric Spornitz, and tomorrow will be better.